Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Hideout Rundown. This episode, we're going to be talking about All Nighter Volume 5. We've got Aaron, we've got Ouchdog, we've got Gavin, we've got myself, and we've got Ruben. And we're going to go in order of the voice channel, and we're going to run down each other's top 10 lists and say our thoughts. If you've seen the Uncaged Volume 9 video, it's basically going to be that. So
wait, sorry, you can cut this out if you want. Wasn't Caitlyn supposed to be a part of this?
I don't know.
I thought, because she was at work yesterday, and yeah, she had us postponed, but if she's not here then. Didn't she make us postpone?
I think so. Well, she wouldn't be the first one to go anyway. All right, Aaron, what's your number 10?
My number 10. I mean, honestly, I was debating between a couple songs. It's such a hard choice, but I decided on Drajie, if that's how you pronounce it, and Glaciers 95. Well, I'll start off with why I picked it. Personally, like there's just like something about that lead sound. I love the bass. Like the lead just kind of tickles my ears in the right way. It reminds me a lot. I think Ruben said this before. It reminds me a lot of "Avoiding the Hallways" by DOVVE and I'd Rather Not, which is my favorite song on ANV4. I just really like the lead. I find it really satisfying. It's simple, you know. It doesn't need to really do all that much. I just love, you know, it's just very charming to me.
Yeah, this one also made my list, and I just love, I feel like in many ways it is a spiritual successor to Avoiding the Hallways. It's quite different structurally, but it's very similar in the way that everything kind of slips around. Like, there's tons of little fills or random percussion elements or synths or random just noises that just kind of come in, and they play for like half a second, and it all makes for like, it's kind of like one of those songs you have to just kind of sit back and like listen to. Like, it's not one you can really stay on top of because it's got a simple motif, but what really makes it for me is like all these fills and random sounds that just flutter around. And yeah.
It didn't make my list, but it's a song I respect it a lot. That's all I have to say for it.
It's got a pretty nice energy to it. It was a problem with Avoiding the Hallways for me. I didn't feel like the song was like enough for me to like really enjoy, but this one is a lot more upbeat, and the flow is just a lot easier to get into for me, and it's just a really cool idea overall.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, what's your 9?
All right, my number 9 is Gnome Household by Defsharp. And you know, honestly, there were a lot of like pretty good drum and bass songs on this album that I could have chosen, but personally I just really liked how this one combined, you know, there was a little bit of melody, a little bit of atmosphere. I really enjoy like the way that the bass swells up and down in the drop. I think that, you know, for me that really hits hard, just like, you know, this constant kind of noise that's hitting you, just like swelling up and down. I find it to be almost like euphoric in a way, and you know, it's a little repetitive. It runs a little long. You know, even I put it on my list. I wish, you know, it would have been nice if it was a little shorter. But you know, I just love the energy. I love like how it's kind of euphoric. I love the sounds, all that.
Yeah, this one made my list too. But honestly, I think in this song I kind of like the verses more than the drops actually. Specifically, there's a part after the first drop where it goes into this section where it's just like a vocal chop and this short little pluck that's just playing, and they're playing this like really simple rhythm, and it's very simple, but it's like indescribably satisfying. Like, I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but like that section alone is honestly enough to make the list. And then it's backed up by drops, which, yeah, like Aaron said, it swells in your ears, and it's very well made and hits hard, and it's got a really good verse section too, so that just adds to it.
Yeah, I think it's a little weaker than Defsharp's other stuff, but I think that just comes with making a song in one day. it just kind of blends together with the other neuro sounding songs on this. But it's respectable. I just wouldn't really come back to it. It doesn't really line up with my tastes.
Yeah, I just don't really like this kind of D&B. Like, it just kind of does nothing for me, like 90% of the time.
It's like
a exception.
The song for me is like extremely meh. The intro is really cool, how like fast paced it is and like preparing you for the drop. However, I have a lot of issues with the drop. I am moving John out of this voice chat. The drop. Okay, hold on. Come on. The drop is just plagued with white noise. I don't know if you guys could hear that. It's a lot of white noise. Too much for me.
That's
an appealing thing. Yeah.
I don't like it.
that.
I just don't like the white noise.
I don't know.
It's
I like
Understandable though.
I
Understandable.
get that. Yeah, I like
and
my.
the lead sound in the drop is just too dry. It's like too abrasive in my opinion. I just don't think the drop works too well. But everything else is okay.
Personally, when I listen to heavy, dubstep, drum and bass, I like it. I like everything to be really dry, gritty, like hitting hard. Like I like that white noise punch. I'm not a fan of, like, for example, like a lot of rhythm music. I don't like slippery, wet sounds too much. I like just like plain like dry growl that just hit hard. And this song, that's the whole lead and that's the entire drop. And so for me, it works perfectly.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
All right, what's your number 8, Aaron?
All right, my number 8 is Bliss by 360.
Ooh.
The reason why I chose this song is because it's obvious if you hear it. It's just such a happy feel good song. The drums hit pretty hard, so it's also easy to bounce to. But the melody is just like so happy. It's it's unrelentingly feel good. You can listen to this anytime, and it's very aptly titled Bliss. Honestly, it doesn't, like, my reasoning doesn't go much deeper than that. It's just like so feel good, and every time I listen to it, I'm bouncing. The drums are done very well. Production is good. Just very solid, and it puts a smile on my face, and that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this at number 6, and basically just for the same reasons you said. Like, it's really uplifting, and I really like the lead a lot and the melody. Like, it reminds me of. I made this comparison. It reminds me of Break the Silence a little bit, like
that's a good
mega collab.
Yeah.
Just that song too is a really like fun summary kind of song. It's just stuff like that really like hits me, and I really like it.
Yeah, this one also made my list. It's up high. It's at 4, and I agree with what you guys said. It's like infectiously happy, but it never really feels cheesy for me. Like, it never crosses the line into cheese territory.
True.
And it's very similar to 360's last all-nighter release, Dissonance, I believe it was called, and that it's kind of got that stop-start rhythm, but it's not like usually I associate, or when I hear like stop-start music done, it's usually like really euphoric, loud, or heavy or something. And this song and Dissonance are both more laid back, but they still got that glitchy kind of stop-start rhythm. And I think that's very satisfying. It's got a great melody, great sound design, great drums like you mentioned, and a really, really perfect midsection that really ties it together for me. I love at the very end when I don't know what it's called, the technical term, but it just starts, it's playing that little solo on the lead, and then it just goes all the way up like 2 octaves or something really fast. And yeah, that part is just the perfect end to, great midsection that really ties it together.
Yeah, I think you guys said it best. It's just really clean, really happy sounding. Yeah, it's just a nice song.
So I do like this song quite a bit. It's pretty good. However, it's so dwarfed by 360's All Nighter Volume 4 song, in my opinion. Dissonance has just, in my opinion, it's just a wall of noise, kind of in the style that this song went for, but this song isn't like that same wall of noise. It's kind of more flat in a way. It's more streamlined, and I don't really like that. I mean, I don't dislike this song, but I just like the way it's done, the way the style's done in Dissonance a lot more, because it packs so much more punch.
I think this is definitely superior to Dissonance. and I think probably. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think they're about the same, like in terms of my enjoyment. I mean, I think they're both good. Like they're a similar style, but they're both good for different reasons, in my opinion.
Honestly, I like this song more than Dissonance, from what I remember.
Yeah, it's been a while since I heard it. Who knows? I'd have to listen again. But
Yeah, same.
yeah.
All right, Aaron, what's your 7?
All right. My number 7 is Mizu, Neat, and TheDiabolicalWaffle with Goodbye.
I love that
What a
song.
name that is. Yeah, and I mean, if you've heard this song, it's pretty obvious. It's very well done. It's grand. First of all, it's a perfect closer. Like it's genius that they named a song Goodbye, because then they had to pick it because it's such a perfect like end of the track.
Truly.
That's a good point, honestly.
But yeah, I believe Mizu is the one who did the vocals. They're like incredible. They're so like light and delicate. I think it really adds to the whole feel of the track. I mean, but obviously, I mean that like you can't even really call it a drop. Like the moment at the end where like it's just a complete like wall of, you know, this huge like orchestral boom at the end. It's just insane. Like that's the whole reason why it's here. Though, you know, it could just be that, and I would love it. Like it's just insane. You know, it gives me chills every time. Just like that incredible like wall of sound. It just like completely overwhelms me, and I just find it to be like breathtaking in, you know, in a way. I just think like that moment is incredible, and you know, of course, the other, you know, the rest of the song, the vocals, the orchestral elements are all very good. But yeah, just that moment in the end is really awe-inspiring, in my opinion.
It's really well done. Like the noise wall is very well done. Usually when people go for that, there's some like mastering or mixing mess ups, but this one genuinely felt, it felt super clean.
Yeah, a lot of the times when people go for that, they want to make it really like over the top, and they distort the hell out of it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like it depends on who's doing it. But this song, it's really great. I think definitely there's a lot of Mizu in this collab. His last song on All Nighter was like a Disney like orchestral song, and it was like well made, just not really my thing. But here he took it and translated that into a style that I enjoy more, and he really added to that grandiose like feeling of the entire thing, I think.
To me, this song is just Form's equivalent of Where Will We Go by Grant, and that's a song that took a long time to grow on me, and I feel this one might also take quite a while to grow on me, but once it does, I think I'll like it a decent amount.
Man, Gav, you're like the negative Nancy of her.
I mean, I didn't say it was bad. I just said it needs.
No, I know, but
time.
yeah.
All right, Aaron, what's your 6?
All right. My number 6 is Skybreak, Sharks, and Ace Aura with Another Heart. I mean, like, I honestly, as soon as I heard that these 3 producers were doing a collab, I knew it would be somewhere here. Like, you know, it's gonna be quality in terms of like the production. It's gonna be dubstep, which, you know, like the melodic, you know, the whole color-based thing. I mean, I tend to enjoy that style. I also think, you know, the song's got a good amount of personality. Like it has that fun little like intro section where like they say the names and then they each do like a bar of like their sound design, and then it does like the cheeky little lick right after. But yeah, I mean, there's 3 different drops. They're all like different and good in their own way. It's really impressive that they managed to make like 3 solid drops. Personally, the first 2 drops like really slap, like they go really hard. The third drop, you know, they went for a more melodic dubstep approach. I think it's a little like weak in the mixing. The drums don't hit as hard, in my opinion. But like just because of those first like 2 drops, this song is, you know, I find it to be incredibly solid. Yeah, it's just like a really good dubstep song. It's incredibly impressive, like that they made this in 24 hours, because, you know, it could easily be out on Rushdown, which, you know, I'm sure most of those releases take more than 24 hours.
Well, yeah. This one was a toss-up for number 10 on my list. It was genuinely between like 5 songs. Like I had a hard time picking, but I do think it's got a lot of personality, like what Aaron said. And honestly, I wasn't too hot on it when I first heard it, but I've been coming around to it a little more. I think I agree with him on the final drop. It's a little held back by the production, but you know what? I think that just comes with making a 3-drop song in a day. Like,
Yeah.
Ear fatigue exists, and it sounds fine, don't get me wrong. But it's just missing that little punch that might have sent it into my list. But it's still like a very, very, very good song. Like, it's by no means bad in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you guys said what I was gonna say. Except I kind of like the melodic drop more. I feel like it's a really nice closer. But that just might be my music taste. I feel like I've heard a lot of these Asora type bro step drops, and I'm kind of. Yeah. I mean they're good, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting bored of them. But the melodic dubstep drops are always solid.
Well, I would be
That's
inclined.
fair.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree about. I've definitely gone through heavy like color-based fatigue, but I think a few artists are definitely bringing it back, and honestly, like they're in this collab pretty much.
Skybreak really well.
Skybreak definitely been killing it this year, and then Shark's his remix of what's it called? You're Gonna Love Me. I really enjoy that song. I think it's super punchy, but yeah, this one. It's everything's there, and if you like this style a lot, you'll like the song a lot. It's that simple. If you're a bit more fatigued, then you probably won't get much out of it, but I fall a little more on the latter side of the spectrum here.
Yeah. I'm not too invested in the color-based scene, but this was pretty nice. I think we've covered most of the things that I've wanted to at least mention in this song. There's one thing that I really like that really caught my ear the first time I listened. It's that melodic sound used in the first drop. I love that sound so much. It's used really nicely. It just rings off my ears really nice. So that's really all I really have to say. I said really a lot in that sense.
All right, Aaron, what's your 5?
All right. This one's probably going to be the most controversial. I also don't really know how to pronounce the name. I only am going to take a guess because I've heard Saoirse Ronan pronounce her own name. But it's Wait Any Longer by Saoirse Dream or Saoirse Dream. I definitely get the feeling that this is not going to be a ubiquitously held opinion. Personally, based on the rest of this list, you can kind of get the idea. I'm a big fan of really noisy, distorted music or just sounds in general. And this song, it's basically obviously, the vocals, very Gex inspired. But honestly, beyond that, I don't see, there's not that much connection. The vocals are, they're fun. There's a lot of guitar, very distorted guitar leads, and there's also a lot of chiptune elements, which I think is really fun. I've never really heard a song of this style, whatever terminology you want to use. I've never really seen it use, combine so many elements in such a way. Obviously, it has a lot of personality. It starts off with that more mellow guitar section, and then it kind of, it taunts the listener with whatever you want to call the little one-liner. Honestly, this song, it goes in a bunch of different directions, and I just really like everything that it does, especially when it dies down into that more mellow chiptune section where it's just kind of the 8-bit synth going on. That part is really dreamy, and I really like it. The noisy parts, they're noisy. I really get hyped listening to this song. I certainly understand why this is going to be a controversial favorite pick, but I personally just find the song to be really fun, and I love basically every direction that it takes.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think the vocal line is really catchy. I would need to listen again to form a solidified opinion, but I remember my first impression was I don't love it, but I don't think it's the worst on that. I don't think it deserves all the flack it gets. It's not bad.
Well, yeah, I used to kind of really dislike this style of high pitch, kind of Gex influenced vocals, but honestly, I think I've just heard it so much that I'm just kind of numb to it at this point, and it doesn't really get on my nerves anymore. And so, yeah, like you said, but you said it best. Goes in a bunch of fun directions. it's nothing special to me really, to like special enough to make my list personally, but it's certainly far from like the bottom half.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a bit of a hyperpop fatigue as of late. I think it just kind of blends into the other form songs that try to be 100 Gexy, but it's not as offensive as some of the other ones. I think it's not the worst song in the world. It's a nice listen if I'm in the right mood, but I think I'm just a bit hyperpop fatigued.
Yeah, I
Understandable.
think the only real connection this has to 100 Gex really is the vocals. I mean, hyperpop you can make it a bit more of an argument for, but yeah, I mean, I don't really hear much. You know, you don't. That's the only like hallmark that really sticks out to me as being like 100 Gexy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a lot of this. You know, it's just very loud. Like, I understand why. Like, in terms of the vibe, it is, you know, similar.
It is, yeah, kind of hyper poppy.
All right, what's your 4?
All right, my number 4 is Equity, Make You Stay. This one is similar to the Skybreak. It's similar to Another Heart for me. You know, obviously, like, it's a bunch of artists that I like. I listen to Equity, the label. So, I mean, in my opinion, like, this is another like 3-drop song, or kind of, that every direction it goes is different, and they're all like, each direction is good. The first drop is very Darby-esque, with like, you know, a really fun melody, and you know, there are some fun little stuttery notes, and a pretty signature Darby lead. Then, you know, it dies down. There's this I guess signature Bendel orchestral section that I really love, and then the final drop, personally my favorite drop, with like this really interesting flute type melody that kind of arpeggiates, and you know, it's a pretty simple drop, but for some reason, like, the flute or the flute type instrument really, like, it really resonates with me. You know, it's very impressive that they managed to make a song with, I guess, 3 different like coherent sections that all sound very good. Also the vocals and, you know, the lyrics are quite nice. I believe Aether Tides is responsible for that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, everything, all 3 of the sections, I guess, you know, they're not really like explicitly divided into sections, but that's just how I kind of perceive this song. Every direction that this song takes is very solid in my opinion, and it makes for a fun listen every time.
Yeah, this is go ahead, Ruben.
No, you go. I've talked a lot.
Okay, this is I think this is number 3 on my list. I really enjoy it. I like the stutteriness of the first drop. I love the euphoricness of the closing drop. It's just a really nice song all around. It's really well made too. For 24 hours, like, it's impressively well made. I love the vibe it gives off. It's very feel good.
One of, I think, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, one of my favorite aspects of this song is how every artist, there are moments and where you can hear their style peeking through, but like, it's not like, you can't be like, oh, this is a Darby song, or, you know, oh, this is a Bendel song. Like, everyone blends together well, while also similarly, like, or simultaneously, sorry, allowing every artist to have a sort of moment where they kind of can peek through. Like, if you listen to them, you can pick out most of them, kind of what they did.
Yeah, facts.
And yeah, I think it's also got, I really like the melody, chord progression of the song. It's very simple, but it's got that kind of like, I guess like a good comparison is like Millennium kind of chord progression, where it's that kind of melancholic, you know, future bass chord progression, and I think that just really adds to the song. Sorry, I'm talking out of my ass.
Get with the program, Ruben.
No, yeah, I know, but no, everything comes together well. You know, like you said, it's very well produced. The chord progression gives it a nice twinge of sadness, and great vocals, and yeah, overall, just really great song.
Yeah, it's very solid.
I like it It's a rare occurrence of me actually liking the vocals more than the actual instrumentals. Both are good, but the vocals are really good to me. It's just a pleasant song, and I don't see why it wouldn't be on my list. So yeah, all I gotta say, you know.
All right, Aaron, what's your 4?
Okay, well that was my 4. My number 3.
You fool.
Sorry.
Yeah, you dummy. All right, my number 3 is pretty obvious one. Torr, Eviction Notice. You know, I mean, I have honestly a lot of the reasons why the other songs are here. It's just like super fun. Torr is really good at this like, you know, like this bedroom pop. I mean, you know, singer songwriter type of thing. You know, obviously it's got a lot of charm, a lot of personality. There's even a callback to Migraines, which was, you know, an all-nighter Volume 4 staple. You know, the bass is good. The production is like insane. It's really clean. Obviously, you know, the vocals are really catchy. You know, it's basically like the pinnacle of, you know, this like bassy bedroom pop. I don't know if that's the right word, but or like it's not really hyper pop, you know, because
like bedroom producer kind of.
Yeah, like it's very
yeah.
it's very organic. Like it definitely feels it feels authentic, which I really, you know, it really resonates with me, because you know it's not really overly produced in any way, but it's still super clean, still super fun to listen to. Everything's done well, you know, and it really resonates with me.
Yeah, I really like this song. I have it at number 4. I honestly like this more than Migraines. I like the drop is so impactful, and when it has like the vocal, like the chorus, but it's like high pitched and distorted, like that just hits so well. That's my favorite part of this song, is when that distorted chorus comes in.
Yeah, it's got a very similar structure to Migraines, but I think I prefer this to Migraines. This is my
catchier than Migraines.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
only
my
thing that kind of elevates it higher than Migraines.
yeah. This is my number 1 on the whole compilation, and I believe Migraines was my number 1 too on number 4.
Yeah,
but
Migraines
this
is pretty
one,
high for me on 4.
yeah, this one, it has that similar where, you know, it starts out very catchy, really great vocals. Something interesting to me about this song, and specifically the Migraines callback, is in Migraines, Torr, the vocals were good there, but you know, he was kind of using heavy, like, what's the word, like heavy, like he was altering them a lot, you know what I mean? And in this song, it sounds like, you know, his raw voice, like obviously it's been processed, but you know, like it really highlights, I think he might have just gotten more confident with singing, or either way, it sounds so good. And like don't get me wrong, like the vocal processing in Migraines, it didn't it didn't hold it back at all in that song, but in this song it's like the vocals are even better, especially when he goes for those like high notes in the chorus.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
have a
and
thing for high notes in songs, and that's this song definitely hits that.
He hits them, and it's like you don't hear it. It's not like really obviously auto-tuned or anything like that. Like it's like he's hitting those notes up there. And yeah, I love the way it progresses. It starts out more simple with the bass, and then it does the similar Migraines thing where it's like this high-pitched, it's almost like an ARP kind of sound, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it hits so hard, like in the section where it's the vocals are up high. And then a nice little callback to Migraines, switches it out with like the same vocal flow, and then it goes like, I'm assuming half the tempo, or it significantly slows down for a little bit. Like lots of fun directions, fun little segments and sections, and it all comes together to just create a really catchy, easy to get into song for me.
And that the second drop, when it gets all like glitchy, like normally something like that would turn me off, but it just feels so like powerful. Like it feels so like impactful, that like the glitchiness. I really like that part.
All around just amazing song, just like Migraines. Keep it up, keep submitting to these compilations, man.
Torr is a legend,
Keep doing it. Yeah, Gavin?
Got something to say, bud?
No, not really.
Got something to say, Nancy?
I like Migraines. This is okay.
Gavin the only one who doesn't have this in the top 10?
I think he is.
Probably.
Have it in my top 10.
I
It's
thought
like
this would be
middle.
in everyone's list. Like, legitimately.
This is in
Towards the
mine.
middle.
I think this is my 4 or something.
Yeah, it's my 4.
We'll
Alright.
just tear Gavin's list to shreds when it comes to it.
Looking
I'm
forward to that.
surprised, dude. There's one song that I really wish you guys had. I don't know why I like these songs. I thought it was like not a guilty pleasure, but now I'm thinking about it, it kind of is. So, whoops.
All
Well,
right.
stay tuned to find out.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. What's your number 2?
My number 2, yeah. My number 2 is "If" by Winamp Boys. This song to me is just like, again, you know, it's a common theme among my top 10, just like 3 drops that are incredibly solid. And you know, again, very cohesive. The future bass drop is like super airy, like, you know, like the snare, you know, it hits hard, but it's still like pretty delicate sounding, and the sound design is like pretty light and airy, which, you know, it's not something that I would consider like a hallmark of good future bass, but it works well here. The bro step drop took a while to grow on me, but you know, like if I kind of stop thinking about it and like I don't really let myself, you know, get too caught up in it, then it, you know, it can slap. Just like banging my head to it without really thinking, mindless banger. Obviously, you know, the hard style drop, not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Personally, like in my opinion, it goes so hard. Like that might be honestly my favorite part of the song, the hard
Really?
style drop. Yeah.
I would not expect that, like, just knowing you.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about. Like, knowing, I would not expect you to have that song that high up. I really enjoy the song too, though, or at least the first drop. The first drop is like the most fulfilling super saw I've ever heard. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think the hardstyle drop is a cool touch, but I feel like it's a bit out of left field for the song.
I don't like
And I think the bro step drop was to be expected, I think, but the first drop is really good.
The bro step drop isn't amazing, but I think it doesn't hurt the song that much.
Yeah,
It just kind of exists.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
kind of exists. Exactly.
Yeah, it's, well, I'm not someone who really likes, for me that section feels like Katori had heavy influence over that section, and I'm not really a fan of that kind of bro step. For me, I think, yeah, I agree with what you guys said. Aaron specifically, future bass drop really good, but you know, it's not like game changing, but it's you know, it's a solid, really good drop, and I think it just kind of goes on a steady, the song just goes on a steady decline for me. I think it's not like a steep decline. Like I can't really hate the hardstyle drop, honestly. Like I feel like I should. I don't like hardstyle at all, but you know, it just kind of goes on a little decline. It goes from like playlist ad to, you know, more mid-range, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you were able to get past those parts, or you know, you enjoy that kind of music, then yeah, give it a listen. 3 different styles in one song is hard to pull off, and I think they did it pretty well. It's fairly cohesive, so
Agreed.
yeah, give it a try.
I like all 3 drops personally, like the same level. I'd give the song overall like about an 8. Favorite part, I like the vocals. I like how they're like high pitched at some parts and like normal at some parts. I think that's a cool touch. And I'm usually not a fan of high pitched vocals, so kind of interesting there. The second drop definitely reminds me of Katori and like his All Nighter 3 song. It was pretty good. And the third drop, yeah, it was out of left field, but I can't say I don't enjoy it. It's not off-putting. It's not like typical hard style, like just the one sound repeated. It's like a really cool sound and kick. Other than that, I don't have too much to say.
Word.
All right, number 1. All right, so my favorite song on this compilation, Gator and Yandrel, if that's how you pronounce that, Orangeblossom. Personally, like this is like the epitome of why All Nighter is so great, because they kind of like found a really cool concept and just like kind of ran with it for, you know, it's not even 3 minutes. Like they just kind of, I really appreciate the fact that they, you know, experimented. This is unlike really any song I've heard before. And you know, I definitely understand like why it's weird. Like the drop, it basically just goes for kind of like a you know, kind of a rhythm-ish flow with like this one, you know, like basically all of the impact is in the drums, but at the same time, like the drums are not the forefront of the song, and as a result, it's this really bizarre mix of like lush, but also like such a banger to me. And especially the second drop, like it's filled with all these like incredible sounds. There's this weird like weird fluttery sound in the second drop that's just going kind of up and down and all over the place melodically for most of the drop, and I just find it to be so insane. Like I really, you know, this song goes so hard, and to me it's like it's the epitome of why All Nighter is so cool, because like they really took a chance like making a song that's, you know, a little bit strange and, you know, structurally kind of odd, but both drops really hit hard for me. I love the flow, and I really like how it's, you know, it's like a rhythm, it's like a lush rhythm song. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. You can definitely hear both artists in it. You can hear like the wonkiness of Yandrel and like the sound design elements of Gator, because I definitely hear a bit of Rice in this song.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really respect that. It doesn't really line up with my taste exactly, but it's very respectable. It's really cool that they made a song that sounds this cool and this well made in under a day.
And I kind of feel more that way about Rice. Like I like Rice and I respect it a lot. I think it's a very interesting song. Never heard anything like it, but personally for me, it was a little too atonal. And this one has some of those problems, but it has a little more of like a tangible kind of melody to it than Rice did, and it's enough for me to cling on to and get some enjoyment out of. And this was honestly one of the songs I was considering putting on my list, but it just got nudged off barely. But yeah, very solid song, really unique, and it's, yeah, definitely very special in the context of not only All Nighter, which is generally pretty experimental, but also like just music in general. Like I haven't heard many songs like this.
Yeah.
I accidentally drank an essential oil. I don't really have a lot to say about this. It's the first part, like the first drop, I guess you can call it, isn't something I'd usually listen to, but it's redeemed by the second half. And I also like before the drop comes in, there's that like little melody, like has like a up-pitched melody over it, and I just think that sounded really nice, like the harmonic notes. I like that part, but that's it.
For sure.
It's okay.
All right, let's move on to the second list. Ouchdog, what is your number 10?
Okay, my number 10 is DOVVE for When Times Are Gone. I really got to shout out my friend Cloud Cage Ben for kind of opening my eyes to music that sounds like this, like to like progressive house, more atmospheric kind of music. Because before I always just kind of thought it was boring and like too long. But after listening to some of the stuff that he sent me, I really kind of began to appreciate it. And I know Hoppy loves this song. I think he had it at number 1. But I think it's the like off drops are really like pretty, and they really build up a lot of like momentum, and then the drop is just this very lush kind of guitar over the beat, and I think it's really like relaxing and serene. I don't have too much to say, but I think it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous song. It reminds me of like early Raizu or like Kazoro. It has a really nice build up, and then the drop is just like so relaxing. Like it perfectly captures the vibe it was going for.
I'm not a huge fan of progressive house, but it's a very pretty song. I will give it that. It's not something I'd catch myself listening to often, but like if I did want to listen to progressive stuff, I'd definitely throw that song.
I personally don't really have much to say. It's just stylistically not really for me. I find it a little boring.
I agree. I do think it's pleasant, but yeah, nothing really to add. You guys said it all.
Fair enough. All right, what's your 9?
My 9 is If by Winamp Boys, which you already talked about. My 8 is Another Heart, which you already talked about. My 7, and this is gonna go up now, like after I'm making this, but my 7 is Hold On by Uki. I really like this song. I just re-listened to it because I was kind of forgetting what it sounded like, and this is really good. I don't know exactly if it's synthwave, but if it is synthwave, I wouldn't hesitate to call it my favorite synthwave song like ever. But I'm assuming that it's just like synth pop because it doesn't really have the retro, I don't know, that kind of feel.
But it's so 2077.
Yeah, that. But it's so clean, and I love the percussion, and I love the chords. Everything, like, for a synth pop song to really hit for me, it needs to kind of have more than just like a 190, like 100 BPM beat and like a super saw. It needs to have like all these sound effects and all these. It is a really stuttery kind of song, and I love the melody. The lead melody in the drop is so nice, and the second drop, it's kind of a more minimal, but like he lessens the use of like the super saw chord, but there's just so much stuff happening and all at one time, and it's really good.
Yeah.
This one's also on my list. I really like. It's similar to 360 almost.
It is. I think it's a 360 song like on drugs.
Yeah, well, it also does have that kind of synthwave. I don't know exactly. I think it's in the drums, honestly. The drums that carry the beat. It's kind of got that beat pattern
It reminds me of a kind of. I was thinking of this when I was thinking. It kind of reminds me of old VOLANT style mixed with new VOLANT style.
It's a good comparison, honestly.
It has the upliftingness of like Minty, but it has like the synthwave atmosphere. Like it has that kind of as VOLANT's new stuff.
Yeah, it's a very interesting sound because it doesn't fully commit to either style, and that makes it a cool dynamic. And it's also got, you know, like really nice percussion, like specifically
amazing percussion.
The snare.
The snare is so tight and
it's incredibly satisfying, like really well made. And yeah, overall it's a really well made song. It's got that stuttery 360s quality that I really enjoy, and yeah, this one is number 10 on my list. It won the grand battle between like 5 other songs.
Yeah, the number one thing that I noticed in this song is that like that old Complextro lead. Like the very like I guess airy, very synthy lead. I love songs with that lead. The melody is really cool too.
I personally like, this was really close to making my list. I love how like the notes, like it's kind of like got a lot of slide notes, which I think it's really satisfying with this sound. It reminds me a lot of The Interloper by VOLANT.
Amazing song.
Yeah, like the notes, like
that's actually good.
Basically, like a synth is played and then it like slides to another note, and that's just like, it just really sounds good. I don't know, it's really satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
I'm not a huge fan of the style, and the song's a little slow for me, but it's not bad by any means. That's it.
All right, what's next?
Well, my number 6 is Bliss, but I'd probably swap those two now, but okay. My number 5 is 1469 by Phonon. I heard that on the live stream. I was like, this is gonna be just polyrhythm again. But it's like the reaction everybody had when that drop hit was like insane. It is really nothing. It's nothing like anything I would have expected.
Yeah.
And it's so. I love the sound design on this song. Those future bass chords hit so hard, and they're so triumphant and so like hard hitting. And even the parts where it does go into like odd time signatures, like it feels, you can tell that like it's different and it's unique. But I don't think it hurts the song. I don't think it really removes the kind of fun. Like I don't think it in polyrhythm. I think that those kind of moments just sounded like gimmicky. But I think they sound less gimmicky in this song. It's not perfect, but it fits really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's because we talked about this in like the first ever Hideout rundown with polyrhythm. I said it's a really cool song, but it like, if you take away the fact that it's in, what was in polyrhythm in like 6/8, 7/4. Yeah, if you take away that aspect of it, there's really nothing there. Like, it's just a pretty generic rhythm song. I think he heard us say that, and he was like, I'm gonna make these guys eat their words. And he made this like really wonky sounding song, but on top of the wonkiness, he made it sound really clean and put a lot more music out.
I love the snare too.
Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna mention that. Oh my god, they're
Great
so good.
snare.
It cuts. Oh, it's perfect. Outshark and I are like, we're the snare.
Yeah.
We're, if you know, like wine critics, we're like the wine critics of
Snare connoisseurs.
snare
Yeah.
connoisseurs.
I've never heard metallic sounds used in a song like this. Like, not. I mean, it's like, I know metallic synths are like one of my favorite things in EDM, like why I like Just On You by Hero Bus so much. But songs like that don't really correlate a lot with slower, more fun sounding songs like this one. And I think Phonon used that very well. He used that to his advantage. And just the metallic sounding trumpet and the metallic synths all just combine together and make it so much more interesting to listen to.
I definitely agree with what you guys said. Polyrhythm, it came across as more of a gimmick. Supposedly, this song's in 1469, hence the title, but honestly, it sounds like 4/4 to me. I can't hear it in a weird signature, but either way, like it works as its own song. It's got that wonkiness, it's got a little bit of those weird chords, kind of dissonant chords, but they come together really well. The whole song's really cohesive, and you should have seen our reaction, man. Like, we were on the voice chat and we were kind of like, I don't know, and then we were all like we were eating our words. We thought it was, and we were just like, wow. And it ended up on almost everyone's list.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
For sure.
Alright, Aslan, what's next?
My number 4 is Eviction Notice, and my top 3 are the most surprising, unexpected top 3 ever. My number 3 is TAPEOTRONIC by VOLANT.
So good.
I am a very big VOLANT fan. I'm a little less of a fan of the kind of synthwave style that the 1 and 2 albums have, but I heard VOLANT say on Twitter like, oh, this is gonna be a 2015 throwback, and I was kind of skeptical. I was like, okay, the Time Travel Kool-Aid remix wasn't that good. I'm kind of worried that this is just gonna be like a generic kind of just like another synthwave song, and I was very wrong. I've heard nothing. I've heard no song that pulls off a melody like this one. It's like, it does what I hear like a lot of actual funk music do, and the melody's kind of offbeat and it kind of lags behind the drums, and I think that's very rare in like EDM, and I think it works really well in this song. And also just the melody itself is euphoric and so fun, and the production. The thing about VOLANT that I like the most is the chords. The way VOLANT sound designs chords, they just feel so warm and so nice, and this song pulls that off really well. And I'm really happy with how this turned out.
Yeah, this is my number 1. It blows most of this compilation out of the water for me. It's so impressive. The melody is like insane. It's been stuck in my head for like a week already. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And I have to agree, like the Time Travel Kool-Aid remix, I wasn't really convinced that it was full 2015 VOLANT, but this one really felt like a minty break loose kind of style. I love this song.
Yeah, you guys, I don't really have much to add on it. All I'll say is this was up in arms for my number 10 spot as well. Just got barely edged out.
Evan just pulled 2 Rubens in general in the span of 10 minutes. Yeah, dude, I feel like I'm only saying negative stuff. I don't really care for this song either. It's got cool sound design, but I don't know.
My god, can't wait to tear into your list, buddy.
Yeah.
Rip it limb from limb.
Alright, what's next, Ashlog?
Okay, my number 2 is Aight Done by Demon of Waves and Flavio. I will never forget the moment TAPEOTRONIC ended, and I saw Demon of Waves and Flavio pop up on the screen. Who on earth are these people? And then I was promptly blown away. This song is stellar. It's literally everything I look for in music plus more. The lead is incredibly like dynamic, and I love leads like that, the kind of funky kind of leads, like that kind of sound, and it's just really fast-paced, funky house, and I really don't have a ton to say just because it's kind of everything. Like, if you know my music taste, of course I'm gonna like this song. It's everything I look for in a song.
Yeah, this one's also on my list, and I just love how dynamic it is. It goes through so much change.
Oh yeah, I need to talk about the second drop. I need to talk about the second drop.
Yeah.
First time I heard the second drop, I was like, okay, what is this? This like kind of hurts it. And then I was listening to this in the car, and I was just going off that second drop. It actually hits so hard, like I don't even know if it's like a bell, but
it's like a mallet. I think it's a
like the mallets on the beat. Like it's perfect. It's just like headbang material, right? Like on those mallets. I love that second drop.
Yeah, I think that's the highlight too. It's got that little mallet, and also it's got these really satisfying like random percussion noises, bursts of white noise going on. I don't know what that one like percussion thing is, but it's like that's the best way I can emulate it. But yeah, lots of really satisfying fills, and then it goes into this like second section of the second drop where it's got this like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a bass, I guess, some sort of weird synth, but I've never heard anything like it, and that is the highlight of the song for me, when it's just playing really fast rhythm and it's on and off. And yeah, very fun song. And at first, when we first listened, like at the very start of our listening, we were like, wait a minute, this is like almost exactly like Crescent by
oh yeah, Anomaly Crescent.
And I was like worried. I was like, is this gonna be the whole song? Because, well, that's a great song, and don't get me wrong,
that song's a 10.
Yeah, this song does it really well too, but I was like, well, if it's just gonna be, you know, very similar to that, I'll probably end up just listening to Crescent over it. But then it immediately switches into this build up and just goes all over the place, all these different directions. And yeah, really great song. And two newcomers, right? Like we hadn't heard of
I've never heard of these people before.
Wait, but I just have to talk about Flavio or Flavio.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce it. Has like a godly SoundCloud. Like, I don't know how this guy went. He went under like my radar, but he has like a video on YouTube of like basically a Haywire video where he has like the same keyboard and he's just like popping off to this like funky melody. I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
All right. This song it wasn't on my list because of its like the first drop similarity to Crescent. Like I personally just didn't find myself coming back to it a lot. I would rather listen to Crescent, but like just because like I found that SoundCloud, which is like, you know, that just makes it completely worthwhile to me. And it's a great song too, like top 10 contender. But you know, I just wasn't coming back to it as much.
Yeah. If you guys haven't heard 2020 to Unfold in Odyssey by Flavio, fantastic song. If it's on Spotify under the name Dr. Aether, but if you should listen to that if you like it.
I just think my favorite Flavio song. So this is the first song I'm not gonna tear apart. I actually quite enjoy it. If you want me to get really analytical, I'm not a huge fan of the snare and how there's not enough sidechain on it, but like whatever, I can look past that. I do appreciate how the song like slowly, like not even degresses is a good word, because it still stays good. That's like the way how it slows down into that second more slow-paced drop from the first one. It sounds really cool how it gets to that point from A to B. First drop is really fun and really enjoyable to listen to. I always bump my head listening to it. And this probably would have made my list if I were to make it like a week from now. Hopefully, I think it's gonna grow on me a lot.
This is a completely random side tangent, but I think that what Aaron was saying about the Haywire video, I think anyone who makes a video of themselves performing a song on that red MIDI keyboard is automatically
the Nord Stage 2.
Yeah, you're automatically like a
god at music
legend. You have like defeated music at that point if you record yourself performing a full song on there.
That is very true.
Facts.
All right, what's next? That song.
All right, my number one is Ground by Robo.
Shocking.
This song is, I can't even put into words how much I like it. It feels right off Good Faith by Madeon. I got a lot of Madeon vibes from this song, and I think it's better than every song on Good Faith. The vocal is like so catchy. If any kind of moment that's coming back to me in my mind from this album, it's that chorus from Ground. It's incredibly catchy, and the vocoder, like I really like vocodered vocals in music like this. Like obviously, Good Faith has a lot of edited process vocals, and like Haywire's New Style has like a lot of vocoder. And I think the vocoder on this sounds so clean and so like it still sounds human, even though there's like a lot of processing on the vocal. And it has those filtered chords, which I mean, give me any song with those and I'm gonna like it. It's just the wobbly, it's so clean and it's so like nice to listen to. And this is probably one of my favorite songs of the year, honestly. Like everything about it just sticks with me so well, and it's only 2 minutes and like 45, like super short, but it doesn't. I feel like it uses every one of those seconds so well. I can't gush over this song anymore. I adore it.
Yeah, I think the shortness makes it better in a way because it never gets old. The vocoder is really good. It's just a funky song. It's a very laid back, fun song.
Yeah, I don't got much to say. I think it's a nice, pleasant song, but nothing really game-changing for me.
When you hear a song and it starts coming with filtered chords and snaps, you know it's about to be insane.
True.
When you hear a song and it starts playing like the same rhythm as Anomaly Crescent within the first 30 seconds, that's when you know it's top material on Ouch Talk's list.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I love Robo.
Pretty cool.
Gavin, what's your 10?
So my number 10 is I gotta pull up the fucking artist. I forgot.
As
the
If, buddy.
Yeah.
By Adri.
Yeah, that song. It's very pleasant. It's just a laid back guitar sound with some cool vocals. Something I'd listen to, you know, chilling out, doing my homework, you know, lo-fi music to study, relax to. I just like it. It's not too much musically, but it's pleasant to my ears.
It's a good song. That's about it.
Yeah, I have quite literally like nothing to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of expected that.
All right. Well, I could say. I mean, I personally like the song. I really like the style. Has a lot of potential for me. I really love Adri's song on All Nighter Volume 3, A Stranger's Quiet Hymn. Personally, I think it's better. But As If I also like quite a lot.
Yeah, I like A Stranger's Quiet Hymn a lot. It's in the same style, and I just it's one of those moments where I'd rather listen to a song that does the same style better, just because it does better.
That's fair.
Well said.
Yeah.
So everyone, I'm gonna move to 9. Number 9, I had Breakfast ready, but I realized like I have nothing to say about that song, so I just put Armor there because I know some of you guys don't like it, and I wanted to say why I enjoyed it. It's just got that really punchy synth sound. Like it's different, and it just punches really hard. The way that the bass just goes with the synth is cool, and I like the melody. I'm really bad at explaining why I like songs, but
No worries. I'll explain why I hate the song and why it should be buried. I'm just kidding. This is I was joking, but I personally don't really like this song too much, and I think I like it I dislike it for the reason you like it, which is that main synth. It's got an almost like vocal chop quality to it, and personally I just don't really like that. I'd prefer if Keva either went full like future-based synth, or you know, something more along those lines, or you know, something a little heavier. Instead, it's this kind of blend in the middle that feels a little awkward to me, especially with the melody, which I'm not particularly fond of. And you know,
weird.
the song is pretty simplistic. Like, there's not really much else to offer. So if you don't like what's being, you know, if you don't like what's that lead, then you probably won't like the song really.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not a huge fan of this song. It doesn't do anything necessarily wrong production wise. I just think the melody is just gibberish, and then it doesn't really I don't know. It's not a very good melody.
Personally, I think the melody makes sense, but I agree with what Ruben said. Like, it's like structurally a little bit one-dimensional. I understand why like the lead would resonate. Personally, like, since I don't like the lead, it, you know, like, that's kind of the song. But yeah, I definitely get the appeal.
Yeah, does appeal to me. So number 8. Oh yeah, Outside. You want to talk? I forgot.
Hmm?
Did you say something? I don't remember.
No.
Do you want to say something?
Stream Ground by Robo.
So yeah, my number 8 is If by Winamp Boys. We talked about that. Number 7 is Make You Stay, the Equity song. Number 6 is Place to Rest by Gyrofield. I think that's how you say it, if I'm not mistaken. Place to Rest, it just starts off really dark, and you could hear that drum break in the background. When I first listened to this, I was like, is that gonna like be the drop, or is that gonna be the drums they use? And then the drums kick in. I was like, yes, they are. And then it just kind of went from there. It's so energetic, and the breaks, all the drum breaks, all the drum sounds, the percussion sounds, they're just so fun. And that little neuro bass, it's so funny in a way that it's just so fun. It's just an entertaining song. I could listen to it through and through, all 6 minutes of its runtime, and just be thoroughly in a state of enjoyment.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't got much to say. I don't think anyone else does really either in this game.
Yeah, no.
I mean, personally, like, I understand why. Again, like, I get the appeal. Personally, you know, it's a 6-minute like neurofunk song. To me, it doesn't really go in a direction that I enjoy. Like, I just find it to be a little bit repetitive. But you know, like, personally, it's well made. I enjoy the production, just like stylistically, it doesn't really do enough to hold my attention.
I do actually have one thing to say. What you guys were kind of saying about the Defsharp song, about how it kind of blends into the other drum and bass, I definitely feel that with this one. I think this is one of the weaker. Honestly, the drum and bass on this was really, really solid this time around. In a year where drum and bass is pretty much the opposite of that, but this is definitely among the lower kind of tier for me. But it's a fine song. It's nothing far from bad.
Truly.
Yes. So my number 5. I can go to that, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. My number 5 is 1469 by Phonon. I already talked about that one. We already did. Number 4 is Another Heart, which we already talked about. And so my number 3 is one that I'm really, really hoping that you guys don't rip apart, because that's just I like it a lot. It's Awesomeness by eliderp and Zeneth. And so I know it's a typical trashy trap song, but like, just listening to it is so fun. That 808 in the drop is just so full, and I'm listening to it right now, and I'm just like, wow, it's so funny.
We're putting you on the spot here, Gavin. We're just gonna be quiet.
But like
negotiate your technique.
Make you talk.
I don't really care too much about the first drop. It's the second drop that made me like lose my shit when I first heard it. Cause like, I don't know how you could make that sound. Like, how do you make a sound like that? Honestly, I wish I knew, because then I'd actually like the music I make. Because like, how do you make that a sound? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It sounds like a guy saying. It sounds like a guy saying yeet. It's like yeet, 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 yeet. It's just like over and over again. It's just, how do you make that? How the fuck do you make that?
Couldn't tell you.
It sounds like a person.
That's damn.
What's so funny,
I
pal?
don't know.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm laughing it up, chuckling it up over here.
I didn't really like this one that much.
Yeah.
I agree.
I hate
I
to
just
make
don't-
this. Oh,
I
sorry.
just don't like a hybrid trap. Like I'm not. That's not my.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
love music.
percussion is cool, but like, I don't really care about anything else it does.
Yeah, I personally found this quite disappointing because I really liked eliderp's previous songs on 3 and 4. They were among like my top 5, both of them, maybe even top 3 for both. And this one was a little more on the generic side of things, which isn't like necessarily a bad thing, but it's like what Outchuck said, I don't like hybrid trap much, and it's not anything like unique for it. And I really hate to make this comparison because this song is like better in every way. It's far superior in
I
every
know what
way.
you're gonna say. I know what you're
But
gonna say.
I'm gonna say that the first drop, it reminds me of an arrow chord song.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say something else.
No,
Because
it,
like
it
the second half of the second or the first drop, I kind of drew a parallel to Poison by Nonsense in a really weird way, because it's just like
Yeah.
that.
I
it's
can
got
hear
the
that,
same
yeah.
melody. Yeah.
I can hear
Yeah.
that. Well, but the thing is, like, this song is like 800 nautical miles
Yeah.
better than like your typical arrow chord drop.
Oh,
song.
yeah,
But I
easily.
definitely
Yeah.
get that. It's way better. But I definitely get that in the rhythm and a little bit of the sound design. And you know, it's just not a style I enjoy personally.
All right, I actually like this song a fair bit. The sound design is really cool. Like, you know, in the second drop, I don't know if this is what you were talking about, Gavin, but like this high pitched, like squeaky noise, like the like I think it flows really nicely with
Yeah.
the beat. I think it's a good song. Just not like one that impressed me a lot. It was just good.
And what I will say separates this from like arrow chord is that like in the first drop there's actually like a growl and it's not just the trap beat.
It's not
Arrow
just
chord
the
doesn't
trap.
know what a growl is.
Okay, another
True.
non-sequitur. But did you guys see that like Skybreak tweet when arrow chord was getting outed? And he's like, guys, I know you're sad, but I made this in 15 minutes, and it
Yeah.
sounds exactly like an arrow chord song.
Yeah.
You should
arrow
check out
chord
that
is-
tweet if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I
if you're
really wish
missing
that-
Arrow Chord's music, go check out that 15-second Skybreak tweet. And it'll make it all like it's just what you're
From
looking
the
for.
pain.
You're
Yeah.
assuming that anyone misses arrow chord's trap.
I'm still hoping
Maybe the
Love and Hate was
one
up-
user that misses Arrow Chord.
The one,
Yeah.
what's his name? God, what's his name?
Oh, he name dropped.
I'm gonna cut it out. It's fine.
But I hope Love and Hate was ghost produced. Like somehow we find out.
It might be, honestly.
Yeah,
It's
by
I
almost
mean-
too good. Almost too good for arrow chord.
I could believe it. Like if it comes out that someone else produced it, I would 100% believe it.
Be like, okay,
This is
Yeah.
totally. This part's totally not making it.
I
any
wouldn't
good.
be sad at all. I mean,
Yeah.
even before the whole thing came out against him, like we all knew he was a weirdo.
It's like,
But I
come on,
still wouldn't be sad.
Quayla. Just admit you made the holy feat,
Yeah.
so we can
Yeah.
listen to it.
No, Fractal fucking made it.
Fractal made
Fractal,
the whole thing.
yeah.
Tyler Maurer made the whole thing.
Yeah. So yeah, my number 2. This is actually a song I'll have something to say, more than just I like it. It's Split by Android 52, which I'm actually shocked no one else had on their list.
I have it on my list.
Oh, you do? I didn't
Yeah.
read your list. 'Cause I don't care about you.
Okay.
So someone in chat here, I forget who it was, said that like the lead was panned to the left.
True.
That's like
And
everyone.
I can't hear it. I listen on like on my speakers. I listen on my headphones. Listen on my fucking other headphones. On my earbuds through my phone. I cannot hear it. It sounds perfectly normal to me. Maybe I'm just half deaf in my right ear. I don't know, but it sounds fine to me. Wait, no, left ear. Yeah, I'd be deaf in my left ear if that was the case. But Split, it's got that. The percussion is really tight and really like, cool. It's got cool percussion. But where the song really shines is that the complextro part, where it's just a whole bunch of retro sounding growls that aren't really retro, but they just work in this idea of the song. That part is just so fun, and I like the chords too. But yeah, it's overall my mic. I checked out Android 52, and he makes good music, so I gotta.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I was really hyped to
Android
hear this 'cause
52's album was really good. Or his
Yeah,
newest
facts.
album.
Facts. In my opinion, this is like the biggest example of wasted potential on this album, because
agree.
truly the complexer drop is like super good. Like I think it flows so well and it hits so hard, but like the first half of the song is like basically unlistenable to me just because it's panned to the left and it really bothers me. I mean, I know I'm being, it's kind of pedantic to say that, but like, I don't know. Like for me, I could see it in the waveform of the song. Like I have like a waveform viewer. It like shows it pan to the left, and like, I just hear it. I mean, it's just not something I could get past. But there's so much potential. Like the complexure drop slaps so hard.
For real. And I hate to, I know what you're saying, Aaron. There's lots of people who make a lot of like, I don't know, I'll say pretentious like complaints about songs. Like they claim this little thing ruined the whole song for them. And I hate to say something along the lines, because it's still a good song. Like, because like you said, complexure drop's that good, but it definitely like impacts my enjoyment of the song. And this honestly probably would have made my list if it wasn't for that panning in the first drop. It's a real shame, but still a really great idea. It's pretty well made apart from the lead, like the panning specifically, not the lead itself. Yeah,
it's a really nice song. It's a nice, I wouldn't call it like background music, but it's not very complex, and that's something I respect.
Buddy, it's literally complextro.
Yeah, I like this song.
Left him speechless. Left him unable to respond. Got him bumbling. Not a single comeback. Wow.
Okay. So, Gavin, that's the end of your list, right?
No.
Oh.
My number
Gotta
one.
hear the number one.
My number one is Cora by Machina, Pixandle, ZEEMEE, and H3R0. My favorite artist.
That's a TFQ2 name.
ZEEMEE?
No, H3R0. It's like
Oh yeah, like H53E.
Yeah.
H53EO. It's my favorite name in TFQ. I don't know why. But
We're going on so many non-sequitur.
Talk about the actual song itself. It reminds me a lot of that one Emanu song, Bloom, where it's just like the DNB loop, but it doesn't have the kick. It's just the repeated snare and then like the occasional kick. So I like that, and just on top of that is the sound design is fucking insane. The synths in the drop are so distorted to like such a perfect extent, and then when I like in particular this one part where he's like ZEEMEE out of fill here, and then you could hear that part like slowly go away, but then it like towards the end, once like all the sounds just start getting like repeated over and over again, you could hear that come in with like effects on it. It's just so cool. Like it sounds like they just put a bunch of sounds in a blender, but then it came out and then they made a song out of it, and that's stuff I like. I like when they go crazy, like absolutely bonkers.
No offense to Machina and H353EO, but exactly what Gavin said, but like to the negative connotation that they just put a bunch of sounds in a blender and they made a song with it. I'm not really a big fan of the song.
I'm a big fan of this song. It's number 2 on my list, and I think it's got that really grandiose feeling. Like, first of all, the drop, great percussion, really punchy. I really like it's like a choir layered over like a typical heavy drum and bass lead, and it works so well. It gives it a really like grandiose feeling, and like Gavin said, it's got lots of sounds all over the place, lots of little fills and effects and background details, but it's coherent. It doesn't get in the way, and it all works together to make just a really great song that rose to the top of my list pretty easily.
Yeah.
I also quite like the song. I definitely see the comparison to Emanu, which like if the people who made this are watching, definitely take that as a compliment, because like it's a really like difficult, you know, it's you know a very like skilled and difficult style to pull off, and I think like they did it really well. This song, you know, obviously like as Gavin mentioned, it also has like a lot of charm, like the ZEEMEE add a fill here. I think like, you know, whenever a song does that and it like fits in with the rhythm and doesn't take away from the song too much, it's really like it makes the song feel a lot more fun, and it makes you enjoy listening to it more, and that's certainly the case here. Yeah, I mean personally, like a lot of the drop sections don't appeal to me that much, but like it's definitely a very good song, and I enjoy listening to it a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so next list is my list.
The worst one.
Okay, yeah, buddy.
All right, we'll see.
My number 10 is New Folder 8 by Circuit Hour, Nox, Snowy, and Soft Speaker. This is the best fast sounding song, because there's a lot of like fast drum and bass songs, like the last one we just talked about, where it shouldn't work because it sounds so fast and it sounds like a bunch of songs put in a blender. But I really like this, mostly because of Circuit Hour. Like everything Circuit Hour touches becomes really good. So yeah.
Dude's got the, how do you never mind.
Midas touch.
Midas touch.
Circuit Hour touch.
I was about to say it, but then I realized I don't know how to pronounce it properly, and if I said it wrong, I want to take that chance.
Posthumously.
I'd be I'd be extinguished. My dignity would be up in flames.
Okay. Anyone got anything to say about New Folder 8?
Yeah. New Folder 8. I mean, obviously, like, for me, the highlight is definitely the Circuit Hour drop. Like, that first drop.
Yeah, same.
But besides that, like, this song, it's nothing for me. But the Circuit Hour drop is so good. I mean, but, you know, it's literally, I think it's like 20 seconds. And besides that, the song doesn't do much for me. But that drop's really good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Circuit Hour, that first drop is incredible, and then after that, I do agree the kind of more housey bit after that is not as, I don't enjoy it as much, but this song made my list. I believe it's like an 8. I don't have it pulled up right now, but very well made. I love Circuit Hour's ability to make a song that sounds so seemingly random and all over the place cohesive and coherent. It's a really interesting dynamic that I think I've only heard Circuit Hour pull off for the most part. I mean, it's like you said, he's got the posthumous touch.
Yeah.
The Midas touch.
Yeah.
You know, that term is actually named after inverted silence. His first name is Midas.
That's crazy. Is his last name Touch?
That would be cool.
Alright, so
crazy, dude.
That would be really awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed talking about my list, because my 9 is Goodbye. My 8 is Split. My 7 is For When the Times Are Gone. My 6 is Aight Done. My 5 is Wait, no. My 5 is
When the Times Are Done?
My 5 is Robo.
I had it at 10.
That is dope.
My 5 is Ground by Robo. My 4 is Eviction Notice. My 3 is Make You Stay. And my 2 is 1469, and my 1 is TAPEOTRONIC.
That's okay, Gio. My list has got lots of talking points. I'll read it out for you guys right now.
I bet it's all duplicates.
Yeah, it's
It is quite literally all duplicates. You got Hold On, A New Folder, Gnome Household, 1469, Make You Stay, 95, Bliss, Aight Done, Korra, and Eviction Notice. From
Awesome.
10 to 1, that's the order.
Hideout groupthink.
Nice.
Yeah.
The hive
You just
mind.
go with the popular opinion, the hive mind.
Just a bunch of sheep in this voice chat right now.
Real
No
people
one
are
can think for themselves.
Yeah, for real.
What a shame.
Okay, so
afraid to
I
speak
guess
up.
that's the end of Hideout Rundown.
I'm being silenced.
Okay.
Wait, can we give? Wait, did you stop recording?
No.
All right, can we just give closing thoughts?
Yeah.
Good compilation.
This comp is really good. I think like
I agree.
before this I thought that 3 was the best, but honestly like as we were talking, like I noticed that all of the songs that people had, or most of them that weren't on my list, are also like super good. So
Yeah.
it's so good.
definitely.
This comp is so good.
This is far and away, well, not far and away, but this is easily the best compilation in my opinion. And I was like Aaron, I was like, nothing's gonna beat 3. You know, you got Drum School, Spitfire, a bunch of other stuff, and even the stuff I didn't like too much wasn't by any means bad for the most part. And then this song comes along, and I think I have legitimately 9 playlist stats from this single compilation, and that's almost like equal to, maybe even passing the amount of playlist ads I have from all of the other compilations combined. So
Yeah.
I have 6 playlist ads.
easily my favorite.
I'm gonna be real. I'm not that big of a fan of Form. Like the only playlist ad I had before this compilation was Knapsack song on the first one. I think it's called Someone to Talk To. And I had
You added like nothing?
well, hold on. And I had a song in the I don't think I had any playlist ads in the second one. And I think I had the Cloudy Sky, like the Cloudy Sky song on the third one is like the best Form song ever made. But I didn't have any on the fourth, but I had 2 on this one. If that is
Wow.
yeah, at 1469 in TAPEOTRONIC. So
That, you know, honestly, that's a good testament to how strong this comp is.
yeah, exactly.
If Geom had 2 whole songs,
Exactly.
that's, you know.
Yeah, my playlist is like 9 and 10s and up. So yeah, there's 2 9s on this album if that proves anything.
Proves nothing.
Okay, buddy.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
You fool.
All right.
I'm making a really good meme right now.
Thanks for sharing.
I don't
This
care.
has been Hideout Rundown.
Thanks for watching Hideout Rundown. The return of Hideout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably not gonna make another video.
Unfortunately.
The final video. Yeah.
We're definitely making videos after this one.
Or
Yeah.
daily uploads.
Lots
Stay
of
tuned.
rankings coming your
Yeah.
way.
I was about to say he forgot to record.
Yeah. Stay tuned for Divide Out 2, guys. It's coming.
Let's
Andrew's
go.
coming back to the group, guys.
Let's go.
We're bringing Voyager back.
Let's go. This is I'm
back.
pogged on my gore, dude. All right. Thank you for watching this episode of Hideout Rundown. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye.